Methods of wage payment. There are many methods for paying wages to the workers. A company should follow a wage payment system which best suits its labor policy. The wage payment system must satisfy both the workers and the management. It should ensure fair remuneration to workers after considering individual workers' efficiency. It should also ensure higher labor productivity and lower labor cost per unit. We discussed what is labor, and labor has to be paid certain kind of wages. There are many methods in the costing system on the basis of which wages are paid to the labor. A fair system of wage payment should be adopted by the organization. A wage system should be suitable to the management as well as should be suitable to laborers, and it should be decided on fair basis. There can be various good characteristics of a good wage payment system. It should be easy to be understood by the workers. It should be flexible and capable of being modified when the situation desires. And it should be economical. Apart from that, labor wage payment system should be decided in such a way that it should decrease the labor turnover going on in the firm, and it should ensure fair remuneration for their efforts. Apart from that, it should provide incentive for high efficiency and hard work. It should fulfill the legal requirements also, like payment of minimum wages, payment of bonuses, etc. It should be acceptable by the trade unions also. It should be based on companies' capacity to pay. It should ensure a good labor relation in a company. So these are the certain factors which should be kept in mind while deciding any labor wage payment system. Now, with factors to be considered while introducing a good wage payment system. First is industry standards. The wage structure prevailing in the industry and wage prevailing in local area should be considered in introducing a wage payment system. It's very important that the firm should look around the current wage prevailing system in the local area as well as which is the wage structure which is prevailing in the industry while introducing any kind of wage payment system in the organization. Productivity. Workers' efficiency and their productivity should remain the main criteria for deciding any kind of wage payment system. Cost of living. Whenever you are paying any sort of wage to a labor, it should be ensured that the amount of wage should justify their cost of living. As in today's economic session, inflation is rising at a very high rate. So, and inflation reduces the value of money. So, workers' wages should be linked with the rate of inflation. Thus, workers need to be considered for the increased cost of living. Ability to pay. There will be no difficulty in paying increased wages during business prosperity, but it could be a challenging task when the organization is not making any sort of profit or not going under prosperity. During periods of recession and industrial downtrend, there may be difficulty in meeting higher wage bills, so companies' financial strength should be considered while fixing wage structure. Attitude of trade unions. Attitude of labor and trade union towards the wage payment system is also important. Labor and trade union acceptance is essential to maintain good labor relations with the firm and to maintain industrial peace at the best. Now, there are various methods of wage payment system. First is time rate system. It is the simplest and most common used wage payment system, being followed in many organizations for a long period of time. In this method, time spent by workers in the organization is the main factor for paying the wages. The effort and output of individual is not considered for the payment of wages. So as you can see from the formula, earning is equal to time taken into time rate. Time spent in the firm is the most important factor which is considered by deciding the time rate system, and the efficiency and productivity and the output given by the worker is not considered under this method of wage payment system. For each category of workers, separate rate of wages are fixed for a unit of time. The unit of time may be an hour, a day, a week, or month. The earning of a worker is computed by using the following step. Earning is equal to time taken into time rate. There are four variations in case of time rate system. First is simple time rate or flat time rate system. Next is high wage plan. Third is differential time rate system. And fourth is measured day rate system. Simple or flat rate system is a single time rate is fixed for all workers belonging to all particular grade. All workers are paid at the same time irrespective of the effort put in or individual efficiency. It is one of the oldest method. It has it is filled with lot of merits and demerits. It is very simple and easy to understand. It is inexpensive. It is acceptable to trade unions as it does not create division among workers, and quality of output is maintained, and repairs and maintenance of machines and wages of material is minimum since the workers do not rush through the workers. If the simple and easy rate of system which is fixed for all workers is adopted, workers are doing their work as and when required. So there is not much pressures on the workers. Next is simple pay rate system has certain advantages, but has some demerits also, that is disadvantages. First is there is no hard work or incentives for the workers who are doing extra hard work, or are doing or manufacturing the product with extra efficiency. Productivity will be less, resulting in higher labor cost per unit, as all the workers are paid on a same rate basis. So naturally there will be no competition, and when there is no competition, naturally their productivity will be affected, and which may result in high labor cost per unit. Workers will go slow during normal working time with an intention to earn overtime. Close supervision is necessary to extract work from workers. This method does not promote honesty and efficiency among workers. So was all about simple time rate of flat time rate system, and we discussed about its merits and demerits. Moving on next to high wage plan. Before moving on to high wage plan, let us discuss what could be the best suitability for this kind of system, which is known as simple time rate system or flat time rate system, where the output of individual cannot be measured. So this system will work best in the system, that is simple time rate system, in which all the workers are paid on a similar basis and there is no division made in case of the workers, where workers are engaged in rendering skills, general helpers, supervisors, staff. In this case, you cannot measure the output. You can only take advantage of the skills of the workers. So in that case, simple time rate or flat time rate system is the best suitable method. Next is where quality of output is more than the quantity produced, then simple time rate system will be the suitable method in that kind of system where quality is more important and quantity is not that much important, and where material used are very costly. Next is high wage plan. High time rates are fixed to attract highly efficient workers. High rate will substantially higher than the industrial average rates. Productivity increases due to employment of efficient workers. A standard output is fixed, which can be easily achieved by efficient workers. There is incentive for higher production. All merits and demerits of flat time rate system is applicable to this method. Also, except that there is an incentive for higher productivity. So in this case, High rates are fixed for highly efficient workers, and high rates will be substantially be higher than the average rate prevailing in the industry standards. Next is differential time rate system. Workers of a grade are paid at different time rates depending on their efficiency. Efficient workers are paid at high time rate and less efficient workers are paid at lower time rate. This method rewards efficient workers, and other merits and demerits of flat time rate system are applicable to this system also. So differential time rates it definitely differentiates between high efficient workers and low efficient workers. Workers with high efficiency are being paid high rate system under the high rate system, and workers with less efficiency are being paid under the less time rate system. Next is measured day rate system. Time rates are fixed for achieving a particular level of output. Workers are paid for the level of performance achieved by a worker. This method also recognizes the efficiency level of individual workers. Other merits and demerits of the flat time rate system are applicable to the system also. Next is piece rate system. We discussed the four variations as per time rate system. Now next comes four variations which were discussed under time rate system are simple time rate or flat time rate system, high wage plan, differential time rate system, measured day rate system. Next is piece rate system. Piece rate system has, will discuss two kinds of piece rate system, that is simple piece rate system and Taylor's differential piece rate system. Simple piece rate system is also known as straight piece rate system. A single wage rate per unit of an article produced is fixed. How much articles you are producing and the rate per article produced or manufactured by the labor is fixed in case of simple piece rate system. All workers are paid at this rate irrespective of number of units produced by them. It's up to the workers. If they want high amount, definitely they will produce more number of units. If they want less amount in today's scenario or in a day work, definitely they will produce less number of units. Like other methods, simple piece rate system has also certain merits and demerits. Merits: every worker is paid according to his efforts, so there is incentive for hard work and efficiency. Close supervision is not necessary because it is pre-decided. If the worker will produce more, he will be paid more, and if the worker produce less number of units, he will be paid less. As productivity increases, cost per unit decreases. Amount of wages earned by the workers increases, idle times comes down, all production facilities like machines, tools are fully utilized. Next is demerit. We talked about simple piece rate system has certain advantages, but it is also associated with certain disadvantages. This method can be applied only when it is possible to measure the output produced by an individual worker. When the jobs are dissimilar, there will be difficulty in fixing piece rate systems. Also, there is no guaranteed minimum wages, and there will be division among workers, like more efficient workers and less efficient workers. This kind of division may sometimes work as a demotivation for workers and may not be liked by trade unions also. Workers will rush through the work. As a result, material wastage will be more. Due to high speed of operations, machine breakdown and their repairs and maintenance, there will be lots of losses which can be incurred by the factory. Workers may not give importance for quality of output turnout. When the workers are paid for, when the rate is fixed as per the number of units, definitely to earn more wages, the workers will produce more number of units, and there are chances they may not pay much attention to the quality of output. So close quality inspection is required. Workers' earning will be affected due to no fault of theirs like power, failure, machine breakdown, and non-availability of materials. So these were the certain demerits of simple piece rate system. Next is Taylor's differential piece rate system. This system was introduced by F.W. Taylor, the father of scientific management. By using time and motion study, a standard output is fixed. Two piece rates, one high piece rate and another low piece rates are fixed. Wages are paid at high piece rate to workers whose output is equal to or more than standard. Wages are paid at low piece rate to workers whose output is less than the standard. Taylor basically, in this case, standards are fixed. If standard output achieved is more, suppose the standard output is fixed at 100 units, and if the worker has produced more than 100 units, he will definitely will be paid at a high piece rate system. But if a worker produce less than 100 units, he will be paid at a low piece rate system. Taylor wants to discourage the less efficient workers because production facilities are underutilized, resulting in higher cost per unit. So sometimes there can be production facilities which remain unutilized and may result in high cost per unit, and Taylor wants to reduce this high cost per unit. That's why he adopted Taylor's differential piece rate system. Efficient workers are highly rewarded, and at the same time the management also benefits through reduced cost per unit. Punishment by way of lower wages is severe even for a slight fall in production in this differential piece rate system. So workers resent this system, and earnings are calculated in the following manner: actual output into high piece or low piece rate system. Now, to get the more better understanding of this kind of system, that is Taylor's differential piece rate system, let us first solve one numerical, and then we will be more clear what actually is the methodology of differential piece rate system. Now it is given in the question. First we need to work out certain things on the information given. Standard output per 10 minutes is 1 unit. It is straight away given in the question that every unit takes 10 minutes to be completely produced. So in other way, we can put this information that standard output per 10 minutes is equal to 1 unit. That the labor is taking 10 minutes to produce 1 unit. And every hour, so definitely standard output per hour is, so for 60 minutes, that is 60 divided by 10, it will give you 6 units. I brief it up again. 10 minutes are required by a labor to produce 1 unit. In 60 minutes, definitely it will make 6 units. So we have sorted out with the help of, it is easily understood. But if we want to understand this concept in a calculation way, we will divide 60 minutes by 10. So we will get 6 units. So in 1 hour, a labor is producing 6 units. This is a standard output. General output. Next is, so what we have been given in the question, please go through it. It is given hourly rate. It is, see here, in a day of 8 hours, the output of workers are given below. So standard output per day of 8 hours. Standard output per day of 8 hours. Sorry, it has been certain typing mistake. Per day of 8 hours. It will be 48 units. 48 units. Next is normal piece rate. So by now we are clear. Standard output per 10 minutes is 1 unit. Standard output per hour is 6 units. And the workers are working 8 hours. 8 hours per day. So in a day they are producing 6 into 8 is equal to 48 units. Next step is calculate the normal piece rate. Normal piece rate. Normal piece rate is wages per hour upon standard output per hour. Wages per hour divided by standard output per hour. Wages per hour have been given in the question 24 rupees. Hourly rate per hour. We know 24 and standard output per hour is 6 units. We have already calculated. So normal piece rate, it is again a typing mistake, no problem. 24 divided by 6. So it will give you 24 divided by 6. Again it is showing some mistake. Okay, let's type it over here. 24 and divided by 6. It will give you 8. So this is normal piece rate. After calculating the normal piece rate, we know normal piece rate is 8. We will calculate how much is low piece rate. Low piece rate will be normal piece rate into 90. Again there is some typing mistake, no problem. Into 90. What's going on? Let's do it like this. Normal piece rate into I think it is not taking formula. Normal piece rate into why it is doing so. Okay, I understood. There is certain typing mistake into 90 divided by 100. No problem. There was certain distraction. I repeat it again. Low piece rate is normal piece rate into 90 divided by 100, which will give you normal piece rate. We have already calculated. It is now normal piece rate is given below. It is 4. Again, there is certain mistake which we have done. I'm really sorry for that. It will be 24 divided by 6 will give you 4. Low piece rate is normal piece rate into 90 divided by 100. It will be 4 into 90 divided by 100. No problem. It is rupees 3.30. 3.60. So I brief it up again. Normal piece rate is calculated by wages per hour, which are given in the question at the rate of rupees 24 per hour. 24 divided by standard output we have calculated over here 6 units, which will give us rupees normal piece rate rupees 4. By mistake we have written 8 over here, so I am rectifying it. It is 4. Now we will calculate how much we are Taylor is paying, how much we are paying according to Taylor's differential piece rate system at low piece rate and as well as high piece rate. Low piece rate will be calculated by normal piece rate into 90 divided by 100. That is 4 into 90 divided by 100 will give you rupees 3.60. Similarly, we will calculate high piece rate. High piece rate is equal to again normal piece rate into what is given in the question 110 divided by 100. Why we are using this 110? Because in the question it is given 90% of piece rate below standard and 110% of piece rate at above standard. So high piece rate will be normal piece rate into 110 divided by 100. Got it? That will give you normal piece rate. We all know it's 4 into 110 divided by 100. So it will be 4.40. 4.40. Okay. Now next step after calculating normal piece rate and high piece rate, it will be earning of workers. Earning of workers, we have to see for calculating earning of workers how much the person has produced. In a day of 8 hours, the output of a worker are as below. Worker X is 40 units. Worker X has produced 40 units, but the standard it will be paid at low piece rate because it is below standard. So standard is 48. standard we all have calculated is 48 units, and the worker X has produced only 40 units. So worker X will be paid at low price because his output is below standard. That is 48 units. Below standard is 48 units. His output is 40 units. So he will be paid at a low piece rate system. So his earnings will be is equal to earnings will be output into low piece rate system. Output into low piece rate system. Output is 40 units into low piece rate system is 3.60. So his earnings will be rupees 444. 144. Next is earnings of worker Y. Earnings of worker Y. Worker Y has produced 48 units and standard units are 48 units, but he will be paid at high piece standard because his output is equal to standard units. So worker Y will be paid at high price because his output is equal to standard. So his earnings will be 48 into high piece rate system, that is rupees 4.40. 4.40. So it will be near about rupees 211.0. 211.20. Next is earnings of worker Z. Earnings of worker Z. Worker Z, as you can see his output in the question, worker Z will be paid at high price because his output is at above standard. Above standard. So earnings will be he has produced 55 units, I think. Yes, 55 into 4.40. 55 into 4.40. It will give you again how much of rupees? Rupees 242. Okay, so this was all about Taylor's differential piece rate system. I brief it up again for your better understanding. Calculate the earnings of a worker under straight piece rate system and Taylor's differential piece rate system. So Taylor's hourly per rate is rupees 24 and standard time per unit is rupees 10 minutes. Differentials to be applied are 90% of piece rate below standard, 110% of piece rate at or above standard. In a day of 8 hours, the output of workers are as below. Worker X 40 units, worker Y 48 units, worker Z 55 units. Now, for this method is applied where the workers have been divided on the basis of high standard and low standard. 90% is wages are being paid to the people who are working below standard, and 110% of piece rate are to be paid to the workers who are producing above standard. For going for final calculation of earning of workers, first we need to do some basic calculations. And what are those basic calculations? Let us understand. Standard output per 10 minutes. It is given in the question standard time per unit 10 minutes. It is specified that 10 minutes are taken by any worker to produce 1 unit. So after every put, we can put it in another way around. Things will be similar. Standard output per 10 minutes will be 1 unit. Standard output then for per hour will be naturally 60 divided by 10 will give you 6 units. Standard output per day of 8 hours. 8 hours why we have taken 8 hours? In a day of 8 hours, the output of workers are as below, because it is specifically been mentioned in the question. The labor is working 8 hours of a day. Standard output per day of 8 hours is 48 units. So in a day, the workers are producing have to produce 48 units. So standard output will be 48 units, and we will take this standard output 48 units as a benchmark to calculate whether it is going below standard or it is going above standard. Now normal piece rate. Normal piece rate is calculated wages per hour upon standard output per hour. Wages per hour we have been given over here is rupees 24, and output per hour we have calculate over here is 6 units. So 24 divided by 6 will give 4 units. Now we will take this 4 units and calculate what will be the low piece rate and what will be the high piece rate. So low piece rate will be calculate normal piece rate into 90 divided by 100. Why we have taken 90 over here? Because 90% of piece rate below standard. If the person is producing below standard, he or she will be paid 90% of a normal piece rate. So we will calculate 90% of a normal piece rate, which will be rupees 3.60. Next is 110% of piece rate. 110% of piece rate is normal piece rate. We will calculate 110% of normal piece rate, that is 4 into 110 divided by 100 will give you rupees 4.40. Next is earnings of worker X. Worker X will be paid at low price because his output is below standard. We know standard output is 48 units. but worker X has produced only 40 units. That means his output is below standard, so he will be paid at low piece rate. That is output into low piece rate system. Output is 4 and low piece rate earnings we have calculated it as rupees 3.60 per unit, which will give rupees 144. Then earnings of worker Y, we know standard output is 48 units. He has worker Y has exactly produced 48 units. He has produced equal to standards, neither too high, neither too low. So definitely he will be paid high standard. Worker Y will be paid at high price because his output is equal to standard. So his earnings will be 48 into 4.40, which is 4.40 we have calculated over here as a high piece rate system, 4.40, which will come out to be rupees 211.20. Next is earnings of worker Z. Worker Z has produced maximum number of units in 8 hours work of a day, that is 55 units, and he will be paid as a high piece rate system. Worker Z will be paid at high price because his output is above standard. Earnings is equal to 55 into 4.40, which will give rupees 242. So as per Taylor's differential piece rate system, first we have divided the piece rate into low piece rate and high piece rate, and according to the output of the workers in a standard hours of a day, we have calculated their earnings. So in this case, worker X is paid according to low piece rate system, worker Y is paid according to high piece rate system because he has produced exactly equal to the standard, and worker Z is paid at high piece rate system because he has produced more than the standard output, that is 55 units, which is a bigger figure than 48 units. So this is how